President Obama thinks that we can do more to help out young Americans, specifically by making 2 years of community college free for anyone who works hard, gets the grades, and does it. But his view of what's fair is very different than Fox News. So just the quick details of the plan before we give you their reaction. The $60 billion proposal would provide grants to pay 75% of the average cost of community college for 2 years, and participating states would be required to cover the rest. Now, this is a big proposal because right now you do have to pay for community college in most cases, although some states have their own programs. But understand that, of course, you can get free elementary school education, free high school across the country. So is it so crazy that we'd extend it just 2 years? According to Fox's Steve Doocy, yeah, it's just that crazy. Listen to him here.
Here's the thing that really bothers me about this.
What?
I made my final 2 college tuition payments about 2 weeks ago.
Well, you're speaking like from the heart of a dad, and moms out there feeling the same way. Wait a second, now we're paying for more college tuition for somebody else to the tune of $60 billion.
What a great deal, but who's going to pay for that?
But it's only, we're talking about, Steve, your family did not choose junior college. So you would not be eligible.
Had it been free, Brian, they might have.
Right.
But look, the bill's going to end up on somebody's plate, and it's the American people. Right. You just got a new kid, and you're paying for his college tuition. How do you feel about that?
By the way, I just don't understand the word free. Nothing is free.
Then you weren't watching last night because he had all sorts of free stuff.
Nothing is free. That's why he supports no government spending whatsoever.
Well, first of all, she got the numbers wrong. $60 billion is the amount that we pay for all tuition in this country. It is not the amount we pay for community college tuition, which, by the way, averages about $7,500 a year. So it's a $15,000 per student proposal. It's not exactly wild in the streets, number one. Number two, just a quick observation. It is convenient that Steve Doocy has a last name that actually sounds like the word for what he is. Don't you just want to say, what a doocy? Doesn't he sound like a doocy?
That's how he got the gig.
That's how he got the gig. Hey.
Yeah, and I would like to ease his mind because he's really bothered by this. He just finished paying for his tuition. Steve Doocy, did you go to a community college? No? Then you would have still had to pay for it anyway. It's not taking care of all college tuition. You probably went to some expensive private college, although much of it didn't sink in. You still would have had to pay for your tuition. People who go to expensive colleges will still have to pay for their tuition.
And
nothing in that area is changing.
0.1% in this country that can afford to pay off their college loans is by getting a job being a moron on Fox. Yeah. That's about the only job that will pay for it.
Yeah. So I'm going to ignore Steve Doocy for a moment, but I am curious. I'm not an economist. So when they say
you are an
free,
economist.
But I am an economist. When they say free, who actually is paying for it? I really mean this question. I mean this question genuinely.
Well, Barack Obama says that the tax increases in his recent tax proposal, part of what that revenue would raise would be to pay off this. So it would be people with capital gains, corporations, things like that.
So it's this new tax thing, this capital gains thing that he just introduced a couple days ago.
Correct.
The idea is, well, first of all, I think it's a mistake to look at it as a cost, in a sense, because investing in our country, which is what we're doing here, pays for itself, right? So an educated electorate, a workforce, that's how Finland turned around their whole economy, just by educating their people.
Yeah.
So education is something we should be trying to increase in America and get rid of the barriers to education, as opposed to what they think on Fox and Friends and Friends and Friends, is that we should somehow keep the barrier up. It pisses me off. It should be hard to get an education. It's like everything backward you want about a society, they're in favor of. Let's make it hard for education. Let's make it expensive. Let's put a barrier between you and getting a college education, which is ridiculous. But I love when he says, well, who's going to pay for that? Who's going to pay? Which is a question they never ask when we're going to drop a bomb on ISIS, or we're going to go fight Putin, or go drop a bomb in Syria, or Guantanamo. They never go, who pays for that? You know how much money it costs to keep Guantanamo open? I want to know who pays for that. They never ask that question. The only time they ask the question, who's going to pay for this, is when it's something that's actually going to help someone in America. That's the only time it pisses them off. Someone might be getting help from the government, and that's morally wrong to them.
I love what you said about it being an investment, by the way, because when you don't have free community college and you have to take out loans, let's say hypothetically you're like many Americans who have to pay $300, $400, $500 a month in student loan payments to Sally Mae. It goes off to some bank or whatever. You know what you're not doing with the $500? You're not buying a new car or clothing or entertainment or services in your area.
Right.
All
you're
of
not
that money
going
is
out
being
to a
drained
restaurant
out.
where people are working and keeping their jobs because you're going to the restaurant.
Yes, it is literally an investment in every locale around the country. She was saying too, like, oh, congratulations now. If you have a new kid, you're gonna have to pay for their college. Does she have any idea how expensive college has become? They have to pay for it now. This is to provide an alternative for people who can't afford to pay $20 or $30 or $40,000 per year in tuition. And most importantly, the idea that because he had to pay for his tuition, you shouldn't have an option to go to 2 years of community college, that is the most un-American thing Steve Doocy has perhaps ever said. When we were proposing Social Security, the politicians at the time didn't say, well, my grandma had to scrimp and save to eat. She didn't have cooking oil and things like that.
When
so
it
why
was
should they have then?
1790, it was like, wait a minute, I just finished my indentured servitude contract. You're going to let these people go without indentured servitude?
Yeah.
That's not, I did 7 years, man.
Yeah, Abraham Lincoln. I mean, all these people had to be slaves. Why should people be free in the future? That is not American. The exact opposite. We want things to be better than they were for us. If we didn't have insurance or our parents didn't have insurance, we want our kids to have insurance.
Can
we
I
should find another country to broadcast from.
Can I bring one more of these?
He's going to get a raise based off of that.
He's a Doocy.
Can I just bring one more of these things back on? Because when I first saw that, my first thought is I'm calling bullshit. Now, I could be wrong. Steve Doocy is 58 years old. Probably graduated high school normal in about 1974. He went to the University of Kansas. He was born in Iowa, but he's from Kansas. So probably in-state tuition. Now, in 2014, the estimated 1 year is $9,500. In 2014. 1974 to 78, probably in 4 years he was at Kansas. Do you really think he just paid off whatever minor amount of money he owed to the University of Kansas tuition that he took out loans for, or whatever it could have been, when he's been working at Fox News forever? Maybe he went to law school. It doesn't show it to me here.
Maybe there's one way it's possible, which is if he tried to stiff the loan. And they caught up with him because they said, that guy on TV, we've been chasing him for 45 years. Now, in that case,
yeah. Or maybe he doesn't get paid as well by Fox as we would assume he does.
There is one other way if it took him 20 years to graduate, which is possible.
There you go. Because he went to the University of Kansas.
Yes.
That's where he went, University of Kansas in Lawrence, and he got his journalism degree, a BS in journalism, ironically.
And he's been majoring that ever since, actually.